Hey YouTube, how you going? Just wanted to do another video for you guys on the True Grit obstacle race. A bit of an event review talking about my training leading up into it and that kind of stuff. Before I get into it, I just want to mention that I am heading over to America to compete in the Spartan Race World Championship event as part of the Southern Cross Spartans team. If you've been watching my videos, you'll know all about it. The team is doing their best to fundraise as a whole and raise some much needed funds to kind of help get us all over there. It's going to be a real bare bones trip, but unfortunately there is going to be a little bit of a shortfall. So if you've gotten anything out of my videos and want to throw a few dollars my way, it would be very much appreciated. There'll be a link down below to the fundraising campaign and how you can kind of do all that. Anyway, True Grit. It's an obstacle race. It's about 11-12 kilometres. It's part of the Obstacle Course Racing League here in Australia, and I've been wanting to do this event ever since they had their first event in South Australia at a vineyard down there, and the feedback was just amazing. All the other guys in the league said that it was just an awesome event. It was really challenging. The obstacles were good. The atmosphere was good. Everything like that. They've also had an event up in Brisbane again where the feedback was good, and then obviously this weekend was Sydney's turn. I've been training really hard for the Spartan Race World Champs in America, which is obviously the focus of my training over the next couple of weeks and months and everything like that. But it was good to use this obstacle race as a final hit out before I get on that plane and head over there. As I said, it was an 11 or 12 kilometre race. I'm not 100% sure because stupid me forgot to bring my Garmin watch, so I had no idea of how far I actually ran, and also was really disappointed because I normally like to keep an idea of my pace and know when I can push harder and that kind of thing. I was obviously running as part of the Obstacle Course Racing League heat, and we kicked off the event at 9 AM. Before I get into the event as such, the atmosphere was amazing. They had like the DJ going from literally 8 AM, so there was lots of music, there's people around. They had a great like little stall area, and I think they're probably, besides like the big brand like Tough Mudder, they're probably the best obstacle race Australian owned kind of one that I've been to where they've got the atmosphere right from the get-go. It was really good. And anyway, the race kicked off, obviously being the Obstacle Course Racing League, really fast start. Simple obstacles to start with, just some tie walls to jump over and that kind of thing. But the way the course was designed was really good because it made use of the natural terrain. They had kind of mountains on both sides of, it was kind of in a valley, I guess. Very similar to Glenworth Valley for those of you who've done Tough Mudder Sydney back in 2012. And pretty much from the get-go, as I said, the pace was nice and fast. I was probably sitting around 5th-ish at the time for that first kind of couple of 100 metres. Well, not even a couple of 100 metres, sorry, first maybe 1.5 to 2 Ks. And then I did drop a place or two, but I'll get into that in a second. So the obstacles to begin with, as I said, they weren't super challenging, just like the tie walls to climb over, but it was, instead of just one tie wall, there was like 3, so that kind of ramped it up a bit. And this was, I guess, just a bit of an introduction into the race, and then things got progressively harder, which is what I really enjoyed. Sometimes you go to obstacle races and they're just like easy obstacle, easy, hard. But True Grit seemed to kind of progressively make things harder and harder and harder. One of the first things that was quite challenging was the ammo box carry. We had to pick up these 2 ammo boxes, and they were seriously heavy. And then trek up the side of a mountain and come back down again. Certainly slowed everyone down and really took it out of your arms. I don't think even in races where we've had to carry logs or tyres, nothing was quite as heavy as this, so that was really good. And then we kind of progressed on from there and kind of went into a bit of a trail section where we had to choose to go left or right. Now this is something that I've never really experienced in a race before, having a decision. And from a race perspective, I don't agree with it because I think obviously it's better to be fair to everyone in a race, and each, the course that you take is identical for both. But from a challenge point of view, because it is an untimed event for everyone else, I do see, you know, it is something a bit different. Anyway, it had a little sign saying you'll soon have to choose your direction, and I just decided I'm going left regardless. I just decided to go with that because I didn't want to get to that kind of fork in the road and be like, which way do I go? So I was just like, I'm just going left. Anyway, I did that, and I kind of knew from the get-go that it was probably a mistake. It was super steep hill, very rocky, no path as such. It was just literally kind of scramble up through the bush, and the path is kind of the path that's been made by anyone else who's kind of run up there beforehand, or animals, I don't know, whatever. And it was very steep, and you couldn't actually really run up it the whole way just because of the nature of it. And then you kind of cut across a bit and came down. Anyway, coming down the hill, all of a sudden, I saw these two people who I hadn't seen before in the race, and I was like, man, are they just like crossing the path and are still going for another obstacle, or what's happened? Anyway, I soon figured out that they'd overtaken me because they'd gone right, and as it turns out, left was about 300 meters longer and also seemed to be a bit steeper than the right hand side, so left was the wrong choice. Anyway, I was like, this sucks. Obviously, I've dropped some places and I want to do as well as I can, even though it probably wasn't the fastest race for me because I'd come off the back of some heavy training. Still wanted to go well, so put in some energy, overtook those two people again, and continued on my way. And was, I mean, I knew probably at that stage, well actually at that stage I didn't know how many people had overtaken me, if it was just these two people or if there was someone further up. So I was a little bit worried, but really just kind of did the best that I could to kind of pick up the pace and try and chase down whoever was in front of me. They had a dam crossing in there as well at some point. Lots of kind of cargo nets up the side of rock faces, which were quite different. You know, normally you're used to just climbing up and over a cargo net, but they had cargo nets against like big boulders that you had to climb up. The course was quite treacherous in parts, which I think is really good from a challenge point of view. Did make it difficult running sometimes because the course was just so rocky, and obviously you got to be balance the need to go fast with the, you know, need to not get injured, so to speak. Anyway, shortly after that, I did figure that those two people were the only people who had overtaken me, and I was back to kind of where I was, which by that stage I knew was 6th or 7th, because before I had that choice to go left or right, I dropped from about 5th to 6th or 7th. I wasn't 100% sure. I knew it was kind of around that point. Another really good part of the obstacle race was this long marsh pit. Because it was a valley, it must get flooded a bit, and it was just like ankle deep to knee deep water, but just hundreds of meters of the stuff, and really took a lot out of you and was consistently, you know, hard and fatiguing on the body. Following that, they also had a sandbag carry up the mountain again. Out of every single obstacle race I've done, including Spartan, including Tough Mudder, this was the heaviest sandbag that I've ever actually picked up. I don't know how heavy it would have been, but, you know, to put it on your shoulders and then go up this hill, my calves were just burning. And it was a great challenge. It was really good fun. Came back down the mountain, dumped off that, and you know, by that stage I knew, even though I didn't have my Garmin, that there was 30 obstacles in total. That was the other good thing about the race, lots of obstacles. And in this stage, I think we were at obstacle 25 or something. So I knew that we're coming towards the end of the race. Probably didn't have enough time to chase down whoever was in front of me, but did my best, kept going. And managed to cross the line in 6th position in the Obstacle Course Racing League, which in effect was 7th because one of the guys, unfortunately, who was ahead of me, did miss the sandbag carry and one of the other obstacles, I think. So he, I don't know if I presume he obviously withdrew himself from the points series, obviously, because his course was shorter than everyone else's and whatnot. So I felt sorry for Mick, who missed that and missed out on the points. So overall, I got 6th in the league, 7th if in terms of the number of people across the line, and just found it a really good obstacle race, as I said. Really good final hit out for me, just to get another obstacle race under the belt before Spartan Race, and it was great also to catch up with a lot of the guys that are heading over there. Anyway, guys, just wanted to kind of round that up for you, if you do have a True Grit event coming to you this year, next year, whatever, I definitely recommend it. It's probably the best Australian obstacle race that I've ever done. I think Spartan Race and Tough Mudder, depending on the course, some of their courses have been better. The Tough Mudder this year in April in Sydney wasn't. But out of all the other Australian obstacle races that I've done, True Grit is certainly up there. It's a great event. So if you're ever thinking of doing it, I'd recommend it. Anyway, that's it for now, guys. Thanks for watching. If you have any comments, questions, put them down below. Were you at True Grit? Did you enjoy it? Did you go left or right? That's probably the question of the day. Thanks for watching.